but I only just reinstalled it, and I don't think it's gonna work. um, let's see. Let's see. Never mind. We'll come back for. We'll try TikTok next time then. Um, applicant text. Oh, let's get ourselves up and running on Instagram anyway. Let's see. There's Instagram. Um, we should be live on uh, YouTube, but I can't see anything. I don't know if you can hear anything. There's always something goes wrong when I do these Q and A's, but at least we're up on Facebook, which is a change. And we are. Are we live on Instagram? Yes, we are now live on Instagram. Hello, Instagram. And I'm going to try the first for me is to go live on Twitch. Woohoo! Um, add a category to go live. Well, how do I add a category? Uh, I don't think we can do Twitch either. I think we'll have to do we'll have to do Twitch and TikTok. Um, another. Oh, I don't think we can do Twitch because your Twitch virtual camera is being used by another program, presumably Facebook. That's probably why we don't have anything on YouTube as well. Then, okay, let's stick to Facebook and Instagram for now, and then we can always load them up to the other platforms later, can't we? So here we go. We're 3 minutes and 50 seconds into the live Q&A, and we're only just starting because I've been sorting out my technical issues as usual. So this live Q&A is because we have just launched Mastery of the Stars, the novel. Don't get the impression that this is a new book because it isn't. The Mastery of the Stars series was published so far as 10 novellas, and I've removed the novellas from sale now because I'm relaunching them as novels. So the first Mastery of the Stars novel, called Mastery of the Stars, is essentially novellas 1, 2, and 3. So that's The Doomed Planet, Shipment to Daphnis, and Rocket to Trinculo. So if you've read those three novellas, then you've essentially read the Mastery of the Stars novel, except that there are 2 bonus chapters in there. The first bonus chapter is chapter 16, which was the epilogue to The Doomed Planet. And the epilogue was only available if you signed up to my email mailing list. So if you've done that and you've downloaded that epilogue and you've read it, and you've downloaded the epilogue to Shipment to Daphnis, then you have essentially read the whole of the Mastery of the Stars novel. However, if you have not read those epilogues, then they are included as bonus chapters in the Mastery of the Stars. So they are chapter 16 and chapter 32, maybe. Um, anyway, the novel is available at the incredibly bargain price of 99 cents or 99 pence. So it would be rude not to, really, wouldn't it? Um, and it's in a lovely, nice cover. It's available in paperback and it's available in hardback as well. So if you want to add that to your collection for 99p, well, obviously the paperback isn't 99p. Not sure how much the paperback is. Probably very good value though, as is the hardback. And for those of you that have no idea of what the Mastery of the Stars series is about, it's basically about a character called Seven. Now, Seven is a clone, and he, at the beginning of the story, he works for the corporation, and the corporation is a galactic um, corporation, I guess. He works in a mine. It's called the concession because the Republic have given the corporation the concession to mine on Seven's home planet, which is the doomed planet. Actually, he doesn't, at the beginning of the story, he doesn't know he's a clone. So I've already given you one spoiler there, haven't I? Let me restart. Seven works in the concession, mining concession on the doomed planet, and um, he's kind of being bullied at work. He's struggling to meet his targets. He's not a happy puppy, really. I say happy puppy. He's actually turquoise. He has antenna. At the end of his antenna are things called marbles, which is where his mind is. Um, so that gives you the kind of idea of what he looks like. He's turquoise, but he's not turquoise. There are different. There are bluish turquoises and greenish turquoises, aren't there? And this is a source of racism in on the doomed planet. Um, the more to the green side you are, the higher status you have, and the more to the blue side, the lower status you have. So Seven is kind of on the blue side, and so he's not very happy at work. He's bullied. He's not meeting his targets, and it's the day of the binge. So the binge is a 1 day festival that the corporation gives. It's well, in fact the Republic. It's a Republic festival. So all the citizens of the Republic get this festival called Binge, and this is where everybody gets completely off their heads on a drink called fushi. I suppose I suppose it's a kind of liquid marijuana, really. And and the reason that the Republic has this festival is because if people get off their marbles on fushi once a year, then they won't complain about their lives, basically. They won't question how miserable their lives are. So they just continue doing things because at least they've got fushi. At least they've got this festival called Binge. So they go mad during Binge and then they just return to suffering their normal lives for the rest of the year. If that makes sense. So it's kind of a way of repressing the society or keeping society in its place, a bit like Carnival in Brazil, or a bit like the Christmas and New Year holidays, where as long as people go mad once a year, then maybe they won't complain about how rubbish their life is the rest of the year. So it's a bit of social comment, I guess. There you go, getting political. So that's the day it is in Seven's world and on the doomed planet. It's the festival of binge when everyone goes mad, and on the day of binge on the doomed planet in the concession, they have a lottery to choose one of the workers to be the workers' representative on the council. So the council is the body that kind of runs things in the concession, and there's a representative from the workers on that council, and that representative is chosen during this lottery that happens during the binge festival. So all the workers go to a a stadium to see the draw of the um, to see who of the lottery, to see who is going to be the workers' representative. And of course, you probably guessed it, Seven's name is drawn. So he faints straight away. And when he comes around, he realizes that he is the representative's work, the workers' representative now, and he is going to have to go off uh, to the council building in the center of the concession and represent the workers. Now, Seven suffers from anxiety, so he's not happy about this at all. But what can he do? Is the way it is. He's been forced to do it. He has no choice. So he goes off to do this, but on his way, he's kind of contacted by the resistance, I guess, as it were, and they want to use his position as a representative of the workers to further their cause. And to cut a long story short, um, he ends up stealing a corporation freighter together with these members of the resistance, which he doesn't want to do. He doesn't want to do, but he ends up in a point of beyond the point of no return, and um, ends up going on this adventure. And that's how it starts, really. That's the start of the doomed planet. I won't tell you what happens to him after that because it'll spoil it. Um, but as I said, this first novel, Mastery of the Stars, is essentially the first three novellas. So it's the Doomed Planet, Shipment to Daphnis, and Rocket to Trinculo. And then there's the offer to download the epilogue to Rocket to Trinculo, which is now the epilogue to Mastery of the Stars, if you sign up to my uh, email list. Now, you can get a free copy of Mastery of the Stars by signing up to my mailing list. All you need to do is go to the website, which is mjdees.com. Click on the link which says get a free book, put in your email address, and then it'll give you a link to download a free copy of Mastery of the Stars. I'm also running a competition. I'm giving away 5 signed copies of the paperback version. And if you want to get one of these signed copies, what you need to do is email me at mj@mjdees.com and tell me what the first word of chapter 14 of The Mastery of the Stars is. If you're one of the first 5 people to do this, I will send you um, a signed copy. It might take a while because I have to order the books, wait for them to arrive here in Brazil, sign them, and then post them to wherever you are. Brazil is still will not let me post books to Australia. So there is a poor reader in Australia who's been waiting for a copy of one of my novellas for getting on for 2 years, because it was during the pandemic they stopped receiving packages from Brazil, and I'm still trying and still unable to post this book. So if you are watching this, sincere apologies. I am trying to get your book to you, but if you live anywhere else other than Australia, which is quite likely considering it's about 2 o'clock in the morning in Australia at the moment, then I suppose you could be watching the replay, couldn't you? If you are in Australia, still enter the competition. I'm sure I'll be able to get the book to you eventually, and of course, it'll be worth vast amounts of money when I become famous. um, but wherever you live, send me an email, mj@mjdees.com. Tell me what the first word is of chapter 14, and if you are one of the first 5, I will send you a signed copy. Okay. Now, book or novel 2, I'll explain it. First of all, I'll explain why I'm doing this. Why not just continue to release the novellas? Why release it as a novel? And the reason is this. Um, every so often, I apply to an organization called BookBub to get a featured deal in their emails. Now, they send out millions of emails to millions of readers every day. And if I pay them large amounts of money, they they might feature my book in their emails, and that means I get the book in front of lots of potential readers. So it's a very, very good way of promoting my work to new readers. Uh, it's very difficult to get a featured deal. In fact, I think they say they accept only about 20% of of the requests for a featured deal, but they only feature novels. They don't feature novellas. So I haven't been able to I haven't been able to apply for a featured deal for any of the Master of the Stars series because they're novellas. And even though there was the anthology of novellas 1 to 3, uh, that wasn't allowed either because they don't allow they allow don't allow anthologies where the the work contained within it is shorter than novel length. So this is why I'm essentially repackaging the entire series as novels. So Mastery of the Stars will be novel 1. Novel 2 is coming out on April the 16th. That's called Funerals of the Presidents. And that novel is essentially what was novellas 4 to 6. So that's Shipwreck on Lysithea, The Swordsman of Angetana, and The Star Masters. They will be included in novel 2, and included with that will be bonus chapters. Those bonus chapters are where the epilogues for for Shipwrecked on Lysithea and The Swordsman of Angetana. So if you haven't read those, you can get those bonus chapters as part of that novel, which is coming out on April 16th. Novel 3, which is called something. Novel 3 called? I can't remember. But that's coming out in June, towards the end of June. By the time it comes out, I'll have remembered what I'm going to call it. And that is Prisoners of Piline, Novella 7. Novella 8 is really, this tests my knowledge of my own work now. Prisoners of Piline is 7. 8 is The Citadel in Space. And 9 is The Hermit of Chaldean. So this novel is going to be called End of the Universe. End of the Universe, I think. And yeah, it is those 3 novellas plus the bonus chapters, which were the epilogues to Prisons of Piline and The Citadel in Space. So that's novel 3. That's coming out the end of June. And then in August, there will be a 4th novel, which will contain novella 10, which is The Caverns of Angetina, plus 2 new stories, completely new stories that I'm writing at the moment. Um, the 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 first new story is called The Walking Lake of Quoa. Is that right? Walking Lake of Quoa. And plus a story whose name I can't currently remember. So it's essentially the 15 chapters of Caverns of Angetina, plus the epilogue to Caverns of Angetina, plus 15 completely new chapters of The Walking Lake of Quara, plus 15 additional chapters of a story that I haven't started writing yet. And that will come out in at the end of August. And then after that, there will be a novel released every year, pretty much. There will be 12 novels in total because there's 36 stories. There are 36 stories because there are 36 dramatic situations, and each each what was a novella, each story is one of those dramatic situations. So essentially, each novel is 3 stories. Yeah. And so each year I'll publish a novel which will contain 3 stories. The stories are linked, so it will still read like a novel. The story progresses. It's not like a book of short stories or anything like that. It's it will they read like a novel, so don't worry about that. And so there you have it. So Mastery of the Stars available now at 99 pence, 99 cents. Super. It's an incredible bargain, really, isn't it? And you can also get that for free if you go to my website, mjdees.com, and sign up for the email mailing list. I don't bombard you with lots of spam. I basically send you an email every couple of weeks telling you what's going on, and also sharing lots of special offers because I include my books in different promotions, science fiction promotions, the historical fiction books I include in historical fiction promotions, and so I share those promotions with you on the emails. So if you're interested in getting free or discounted books, uh, then that's another good reason to sign up for the email, even if you don't want a free copy of Mastery of the Stars. Although I can't see why you wouldn't. I mean, it's such a incredible offer, isn't it? So yeah, so the Walking Lake of Quawa, which I'm writing at the moment, the dramatic situation for that is it's essentially the story of Oedipus and the Sphinx. So Oedipus has to answer 3 questions uh, of that the Sphinx poses uh, to avoid death. But because he answers them all correctly, I think the Sphinx dies. I think that's the idea. It's essentially, if you've seen Monty Python and the Holy Grail, where they reach the bridge And there's that guy who says, "What is your quest?" And they answer the question. If they get the questions wrong, they die. And in the end, he answers the question wrong and dies. It's essentially that over the course of a novella. Um, but also, if you've watched the Batman, the most recent film in the Batman franchise, uh, which is obviously the Riddler story. That's very much the same thing. The Riddler is posing these questions that the Batman has to solve in order to find out what's going on. So it's that kind of story, really. Um, Seven and his friends um, are being posed these riddles, and he has to kind of discover what's going on. But I'm in the middle of it at the moment, so I can't. Well, I wouldn't spoil it anyway, but I can't spoil it because I don't know how it's going to end. But that will come out the end of August. Um, and that's essentially it. So by the end of August, there'll be 4 novels, and then there'll be a novel every year after that. Um, I'll also be continuing to write the historical fiction. I've already written quite a lot. I think I mentioned this in the last live Q&A, is that Fred and Leah, which is my Second World War historical fiction book, is going to become the third book in a historical fiction trilogy. Fred and Leah is based on the story of my grandfather, Fred, who was in the Northumberland Fusiliers, and his father was also in the Northumberland Fusiliers. So the first book in the trilogy is going to be about my great grandfather, and he fought in the Sudan in the Battle of Omdurman, and also in the Second Boer War. So that's the kind of period that first novel is going to cover. The second novel is then going to be the first story of my grandfather and his cousin. So that will be when my grandfather joins up to the Northumberland Fusiliers and is posted to India and then to China. His cousin was posted to Ireland, and then in just the period when Ireland became independent. So he was one of the last British troops in Southern Ireland, and then he was moved to Enniskillen in the north, and then he goes missing, and so it's kind of the story of how my grandfather's cousin goes missing, and what my grandfather discovers while he is a fusilier. And that book is going to be called The Shanghai Policeman. And as you can imagine, part of it is set in Shanghai, in China. And that's going to be the second book in the Fusilier trilogy. Um, I've already written quite a lot on the first book. And when I've finished writing the fourth Master of the Stars novel, then I'll continue that. So hopefully that will come out at some point next year, hotly followed by the second book in that historical fiction series, probably. But probably not, because I'll probably write book 5 of the Mastery of the Stars series first. Yeah. And that's it, essentially. So if you've missed it, fine. You can download the replay as soon as I've finished, which I'm going to do very shortly, because we're half an hour in, and as I said before, people don't watch the replays if they're much more than half an hour. So I'm going to call it a day now, and you can watch the whole Q&A back again in its entirety on Facebook, on YouTube, on Instagram, on TikTok, and maybe even Twitch if I can get it up on Twitch, but I don't think so. Let's see. Let's see how it goes. Okay, so thanks for watching, and don't forget, go and get your free copy of the Mastery of the Stars from mjdees.com, and I will see you next time. So bye bye Facebook, bye bye Instagram, and bye bye YouTube.